Well, George, how are you today?
Oh, Buffalo brother John, how you doing? Here we are, and right now it's a Friday night, and it's raining, and we're getting ready for a football weekend. We got college football tomorrow, and then the Holy Grail. We got Buffalo Bills football on Sunday.
The Holy Grail. Yes, we're ready for another game. So we didn't really do a recap of week one. And that's really because it was too frustrating.
It
And
was it sucked. They stunk so bad. Actually, they did. I still believe the defense played very well. I really think Josh Allen was the problem. There were a few breakdowns on the offensive line, but in general, it wasn't an issue of the offensive line as much as it is that Captain Coleslaw just couldn't get it.
all right. Are you excited about week two?
Yeah, I mean, look at the Raiders. They might be a 500 team, but if you can't beat a 500 team, then maybe it's time to relook at the whole thing, right down to the coaching, the general manager, the whole kit and caboodle. People tell you, well, don't panic. It's only week two. It's not. We're panicking because this is like year five. And we've been patiently following the process. And we do have a playoff team, but this year we are seeing definite regression at the quarterback position and maybe even some of the wide receiver position. We don't have a strong running game, but we have a very good defense. So it is time to start the panic. It is time to start talking about changing things at the top level. But that's for another show.
Yeah, and for another show, and let's see the results of this season.
Yeah.
After that catastrophe, it's easy to simply project a poor season. But in the first half, to me, it seemed like they made a real effort to try to establish or find a running game. Cook got the ball a number of times. I'm excited to see if that continues. Yeah, the Raiders offer a different kind of defensive front, a different defense. Will they continue to try to utilize Cook in various ways? Will they continue to try to utilize the tight ends in various ways?
Look, their quarterback is Garoppolo. He's one of these guys that may be able to dink and dunk it down the field. He's not one of these going to throw a long ball and win the game. He's not a Josh Allen. He's not. He if he's anything, I don't want to. Oh, I think I lost it. There you go. If anything, he's not quite like a Patrick Mahomes because he doesn't have the ability. But that's the style of game. Just a little short pass, a few passes, and then run the ball at you. I think the Bills defense will be able to handle that and give their offense plenty of time on the field to figure things out. Now, will they? Well, let's hope so. I'm a proponent that the Bills should start pounding the ball and pound it right at the Raiders and just keep those guys on the field and wear down that defense and then break it wide open in the second half. There's no need to go out by Josh Allen and score a touchdown in the first 32 seconds and act like, I called him Captain Coleslaw, but, remember that show, Captain Underpants? That's how he, that's how he plays. You remember that cartoon show?
Captain Underpants. Okay.
Yeah. So he's just got to learn again or relearn how to win games. And you win games with blocking, and you win games with tackling, and you win games with sound practices, a sound game plan, and game management. And that's what they need to get back to, John.
All right. That is not untrue. I don't disagree with you. For the Raider game, it's their home opener. I think if they get off to a good start, the fans are going to be behind them, and they will continue to be behind them and supportive, loud and boisterous, as long as the team's playing pretty well. I don't think that we're going to hear bluebirds or anything after that performance.
I don't think so.
So
I think the Bills Mafia are going to be cheering them on. It's a home opener. It's a season opener at home for the Bills. There'll be a lot of excitement, and there'll be a lot of positivity in the air. They're welcoming back a team that was 13-3 last year, and we've only got one loss. So let's see.
as I recall, I've been to Rich Stadium, I guess it's Highmark Stadium now, a number of times for Raider games.
Mm-hmm.
And it seems to be that Raider fans show up in their costumes, even for away games. So I would presume that they're still doing that, even though they're now in Los Angeles. So I would think that we'll see a smattering of Raider fans in the crowd. Should be a great atmosphere. It's a 1:00 start. I meant to check out the weather. I don't know what the weather's going to be. Hopefully, though, the fans will have great weather and no rain. All right.
Probably going to be in the 70s and a nice a slight breeze in the air, sunny day. It'll be beautiful football weather.
What are you most looking forward to?
Well, again, I'm looking most forward to watching them control the game with the offensive line and control the clock and not do the turnovers. Play a clean game with penalties, play a clean game with turnovers, and just let your playmakers make the plays and take this loss off of Josh Allen's shoulders. You know, it's weighing him down. You can see it in his face. I don't know now if he thinks he's got to come out and prove something, or if he's lost his confidence and he can't. But either way, it's time for the team to come out as a team and say, we're all in this together. You know, get us the ball, let us make the plays. You just play a clean game, and let's win our first one.
Yeah, I don't know that I would expect to see much of a confidence issue with him. I also, look, and this is the 6th year. We've never seen this offense try to control the ball.
Mm-hmm.
So I would be shocked if they came out in game 2 of his 6th season and tried to control the ball. That just isn't what they do. And I don't think they're built for it. But I would like to see them get a drive, multiple first downs. And if it happens that they have some explosiveness on that, great. But if not, being patient, even if you're throwing the ball, you can still be patient.
You know, even against that very tough Jets defense, you noticed that James Cook was able to move the ball sometimes. He was able to get some yardage. And the tight end position was the number 2 receiver on the team behind Diggs. So the tight ends were very well involved in the game, and they could run the ball. So they're playing, and Josh Allen was throwing for under 10 yards a game, a play. So they are using the middle of the field within the 10 yards and moving the ball. And then he mysteriously, time after time, would get into a panic mode, go away from it, and do something, you know, Captain Underpants, just something crazy.
I don't know if it was panic, but he definitely tried to do things that were foolish.
Foolish.
I do have a concern with it takes 2 players to equal, like you mentioned, the tight end position. It takes 2 players to effectively be a second receiver.
Right.
So they played a lot of 12 personnel. So that's 2 tight ends.
Mm-hmm.
They're effectively using two people to accomplish what one person should be able to do. So,
Well, maybe that will be the case as they gain more and more confidence in Dalton Kincaid. He is a rookie. That was his first game. They still have a quality tight end on the team in Dawson Knox, but I still think that Dalton Kincaid is the future. And as they gain confidence on him, I think we'll start to see Josh Allen go into him more and more and let him do his thing. He could be a real weapon. And Dawson Knox, although quality tight end, he's never really been a true weapon. He's never been looked at as like, listen, we got Diggs and we got Knox. But I think this kid Kincaid could work into something like that. And that's what I'm hoping to see. I'm hoping to see that he turns into that number 2 receiver until we honestly attack that wide receiver number 2 position in a future draft or with a veteran. But I think Dawson Knox has a bigger upside than I think Dalton Kincaid has a bigger upside than Dawson Knox. And I think that you'll see that in the future. At least that's what I'm.
If he's able to actually be a legitimate sidekick receiver, that's fantastic. Right now, I feel like we're going out there playing offense with only 10 and a half guys.
Yeah.
2 to 1.
Right.
Now, whether that, if you consider them just the tight end, they had a great tight end day.
Mm-hmm.
And that means we still had no second wide receiver.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah. All right. So the other thing that surprised me, like I was legitimately surprised, I was looking at a breakdown of how many snaps each player got. Allen was out there. There was about approximately 6. I don't remember all the specifics, but there was approximately 64 offensive snaps. Of course, Allen was out there for every one. Cook was out there for over 40, which great. It seems to give us a real indication of how they want to use them. Kincaid and Knox were out there for close to 40, so that's really what we were kind of expecting. What shocked me, I thought that they were going to utilize Sherfield more.
Yeah.
And under 10 snaps.
Yeah. You saw them utilize the tight end position, and that sucked up the snaps. And they did not utilize truly a slot position or any other receivers in Spelling, Diggs, and Davis. You didn't see that. You saw them using their tight ends.
Well, so when they spelled Diggs and Davis were out there for 50 some snaps themselves. So on the 5 or 6 snaps that they each were off the field for, I'm thinking that it was, it might have been Sherfield, it might have been, Shakir got about 10 snaps, he might have walked in there. And there was a number of 4 wide receiver sets, and that's how they got some. But as far as spelling the main guys, they might have used Sherfield a little bit there, but clearly he is not he's just not just a backup, but he's really not somebody that they're including in their offense. Like this is a weapon that they're trying to use. And I really thought that we would see him get at least half of snaps. So we'll have to see how that goes in the future. If that continues and he's really just an afterthought, I don't know why I thought they would use him more. On the defensive side, Christian Bedford played almost, I think he played every snap. He never came out. Yeah. There was no rotation with those cornerbacks. Dane Jackson, I don't think played a snap.
Yeah, I think overall he did a good job.
It is Dane Jackson, right? Did I find it right? Okay. Just making sure I got the name right, because I'm horrible with names.
Yeah, our number 1 pick was Kyer Elam, and he didn't even dress for the game.
Yeah, he was a healthy scratch. You are right.
That's another swing and a miss on this draft GM, that is a big black eye, and it's got to be taken into account. I mean, it's just not. It's another swing and a miss.
Yeah, I'm with you. In fact, I know. I think I said a video or two ago that I wouldn't be surprised at all if he's traded before the trade deadline.
So far, swing and a miss on Kyrie Elam, swing and a miss on Spencer Brown, swing and a miss on Boogie Basham, swing and a miss. Help me out. Who else?
Cody Ford.
Cody Ford, and how many more positions can you do it? Swing and a miss maybe on Dorian Williams. We don't know. I think they should play the kid.
Jury is out on Williams. The jury is out also on who's the middle linebacker that's playing here? Bernard.
Terrell Bernard.
Terrell Bernard. He played almost every snap. There was you and I were anticipating that we might see some kind of rotation with him. Maybe we'd see Terrell back and get some snaps. Didn't happen. We'll have to see if when they go up against a better passing attack, if they do some sort of rotation or if they do not. Milano played almost every snap, if not every snap. So Dorian Williams, who is his backup, never came in. We'll have to see. But as far as I know, he did dress. So he might have played some special team snaps. I don't know. All right. Your prediction for the upcoming game?
Well, the Bills held the Jets to 16 points in the regular game. So I'm not going to count the overtime. And I don't think the Raiders are any better than the Jets. So I'm going to give the Raiders, say, 17 points. That's 1 point more. I will give them 17 points. And on the Bills, I think you're going to see 27-17.
All right. You know, I just asked you for that, and I apologize. I did want to bring up one other thing. During the game, particularly the second half of the game, when the Jets were trying to make their comeback, Troy Aikman pointed out that Christian Bernard was not a rookie, but a second-year guy. He didn't have a lot of experience. And he wasn't getting his first start of his career, but he had basically just won the position in training camp. And he thought that Wilson should go after him. Like the Jets should try to match them up and try to take advantage of him. And I would expect that really didn't happen, but they're going to go up as Garoppolo. They've got, is it Devontae Adams?
Yeah.
That could be a thing.
No, I think Devontae Adams is injured.
Oh, okay. All right. So, but that could be something that they look to exploit, as they do have a quarterback that will try to pass the ball.
Yeah, I think they're going to do that as well. And I also think that they have to believe that they can get to Josh Allen and create some interceptions and fumbles. He's prone to it. He's shown us for the last 3 years now that he does a lot of them. And I think that the Raiders, like most of the teams in the NFL, I believe they can get to him and rattle him. And that's why I say it's time to give this kid a break. He's an outstanding quarterback, but if he's got too much on his head right now or shoulders, or if his confidence is lacking in any way, it's time for the coach to take over the game and say, here's what we're going to do. And we're going to move the ball, and we're just going to continue to move the ball and get first downs and eat up clock and not worry about scoring 40 points and not give it away. And if we don't give it away, I think it'll be hard for the for the Raiders to get good field position, because that's what's going to lead to the scores, and that's what led to scores for the Jets.
Okay.
Don't let them get good field position, and you make them go on long drives all the time against that defense. It's going to be tough to do.
Okay. Well, I will say that I didn't feel as if I saw a quarterback that was rattled, but I did see one who made poor decisions. So I agree with most of what you said there, but just to make that distinction,
Okay,
I didn't see a quarterback who looked frantic or rattled. I saw a quarterback who was trying to do too much and made bad choices.
all right. And I saw it a little different. I saw it as Josh Allen not trusting his offensive line and just uh, going away from whatever the called play to make a play happen. I saw
Yeah,
that a number of times.
I would agree with that. It was pretty clear he has concerns with the offensive line
Yeah.
and was absolutely trying to make a big play. And had he found a way to make a big play, that might have ended the game. But instead, it was the worst outcome, which they made a big play.
You
And
know, what
kept giving them life.
what would be the worst outcome for the Bills this week is to just do the same stuff again and then lose to the Raiders and their opening
And their home
opening
opener.
and then what are they going to do? They've got to just cut this off, slow it down, slow down the game, and let Josh Allen make good decisions because they're scheming people open or they're scheming run plays and they're taking the pressure away from him. And I think that's what they've got to do in this game. But we'll see if they do it. I don't
Yeah,
think
we'll see what they do. In general, Josh Allen is not on the bus with Bill's victories. He's driving the bus.
yeah,
He's not
right.
normally a game manager. He's normally a reason they win. So we'll see how they approach this. I do think I read a quote today. Oh, I think his name is Crosby, maybe Max Crosby. There was a defensive end for the Raiders
About yeah.
who he said he was quoted as saying that he believes he is the best defensive end in the game.
Yeah.
So it'll be I don't know if he moves around, but if they line him up on the right side of that Bills,
Yeah, they don't have to move him around. Just leave him over Spencer Brown. That should do it.
Well, I don't know if he normally lines up on the right side or the left side. I honestly don't know. So he could be a tall order for Deion Dawkins, and if they put him on the other side, like I don't know what the heck Spencer Brown's going to have to do. So watching him could be a lot of fun. Well, watching how the offensive line deals with him could be a lot of fun. The good news is that he's not just their best defensive lineman. He's the other defensive linemen really don't measure up like he does. So it's not
How
like
did
the Jets.
how did teams scheme against Von Miller? Von Miller is a sack machine, and he generally is taking off every play to get the sack. So you either move the pocket or you start running right where that guy was standing. Because once he tries to go around Spencer Brown, you can shoot the running back right up in that lane and run right away from that guy. So there's ways to do it, but it's not what we've seen the Bills do.
It is not.
It's like, are you going to scheme to win this game and protect your quarterback, or are you just going, well, we're going to do what we do, and then what they say: if you do what you did, you get what you got. And let's hope they. What do they say?
Don't forget they've won an awful lot of games doing what they do. 13-3 last year, 11 wins the year before that. Well, 13 wins last year, 11 wins the year before that, 13 wins the year before that, 11 wins or 12 wins the year before that. They've won a lot of games doing what they do. But
so did the
I've
Bears.
never seen them move the pocket in 5 years. So I feel like that's a pipe dream. They don't practice. I don't think they do it in training camp. It's hard to believe they're going to pull it out in the second game of the season when they haven't done it in 4.5 years. And I wasn't at their training camp, but I sure as heck didn't hear anybody talking about them working on getting the offensive lineman out and in front and moving the pocket.
Well, the other thing they can do then is let Josh Allen use his legs and put it in a pass run option and tell him pull the ball down rather than throw it into coverage and run and just keep getting yards. But I hate to see them wear his legs out like that.
Yeah.
But that is a position they could take.
It looked to me like they tried to do some stuff with their running game in game one. Maybe some of the stuff that you talked about as far as how to mitigate the pass rush and how to mitigate a good defensive line. Maybe they'll try to use some of the running attack like you were talking about, and maybe it'll be more effective because they're not facing that jack defensive front. But we don't know. Ken Dorsey is a bit of a mystery. So every time we see a game, we kind of learn a little bit about him. And after one season, though, I had a bunch of concerns, but I wasn't sure what they were trying to be, other than a big play offense. And
Yeah.
that seemed to be the one thing that every game they definitely took shots down the field. So we'll see if he is going to establish something. And then they play the Raiders, and I think they played Denver and Miami. So over the next couple of games, maybe we'll see them actually establish something other than we can make explosive plays to our wide receivers.
All right.
All right. You gave me your prediction. Just could you say it again?
Yeah, I think
27-17.
I think the Raiders will be able to squeak out 17 points. That's and because I do think they'll either get an interception or a fumble. I think it's going to happen. It always does, and that'll lead to a score. And then they'll have one good drive, and that'll lead to a score. And so there's 14 out of the 17 right there. And I think the Bills will be able to control the ball and score at least 5 times.
Okay.
Three touchdowns, 2 field goals. That'll do it.
That puts them at 54 points for the game. So you're taking the under, I think. I would imagine that 54 is under. I also would take the under, and I like your score, 27-17.
Yeah, I don't know what the over is, to be honest with
I tell you what, because
that's not 54, that's 44.
So that definitely sounds under. Do you have, we don't normally do this, but do you want to have, how many turnovers for the Bills for the game? Do you want to pick a turnover number?
Yeah, 2.
Okay, 2
I
turnovers.
think it'll be a lot better than it was. I don't think it'll all be Josh Allen. We'll either muff a punt or something, or we'll lose a fumble on a run, and Josh Allen will throw an interception just to keep his stats.
I'm going to say the Bills will be +1 in turnovers. So I don't know if the Raiders are going to turn it over twice and we're only going to turn it over once, or if we won't turn it over at all and we'll get a turnover. I'm going to say +1 for the Bills of turnovers. I'm giving the defense a chance to make up. Oh, by the way, I did have some criticisms of the Bills defense. You can't give up big runs, and they do it again. And not in this game, they gave up multiple runs over 20 yards. They also, you were facing a backup quarterback that has a problem with throwing the football.
Yeah.
And they gave up 24 points, 23.
Yeah, and the Raiders have a very good running back in Josh Jacobs.
Mm-hmm.
And, he can have himself a day as well if the Bills don't tighten that up. Yep. And I think that, they made a mistake. The Terrell Bernard didn't make the call and move his guys over in that one big play. And so that left a lane open for the running back to get through. So hopefully he's been schooled and that's been nipped in the butt. So we'll see. We'll see.
You know what I didn't see go ahead. Go ahead.
I still think they'll score points on the Bills because it happens. But if the Bills can hold teams to under 20 points, they should have an excellent chance of winning every single game they play if they're holding teams to 17 points or less. So I have no problem with the 17 points. It's the Bills offense that's the issue.
You know what I didn't see this week that I thought I would, Christian Benford had that tremendous effort where he ran down Brees Hall,
Yeah, that
prevented
was
a touchdown.
great.
I thought we would see comparisons to Don Beebe in the Super Bowl,
Oh, yeah, right.
and that really didn't come out. That, for years later, that was part of the Bills circle the wagon, and they are resilient and they don't give up, and they keep coming back. That was one of the things that people would point to as, what does it mean to be a Buffalo Bill, right? That was a staple. It was in a huge loss. It was in a Super Bowl loss. At the time he did it, they were already being beaten pretty bad, but he didn't give up on a play, just like Benford did it. Christian didn't. So I thought we would see some parallels to that, especially from the Buffalo Bills themselves, that they would, put something out there, but I didn't see anything.
Well, all I know is we lost a playoff game to the Cincinnati Bengals last year.
Yep.
That's how we ended the season. It wasn't even a close game. I think the score was about 27-17, and the score wasn't that close.
The game wasn't that close, right?
The Bills got annihilated, and they sat and thought about all winter long and went into training camp and prepared and came out, and Josh Allen played like a dope. I mean, I gotta say, he played like a dope in this opening game, and he sits on the bench and he has that sad look on his face. I did it.
Well, we weren't going to recap the game in this video. So if you want to do a video on that, we can.
All right. I'll let it go, but it's time for him to mature, man up, and be resilient. You wouldn't see Bruce Smith looking like that. You wouldn't see Jim Kelly doing that. It's time for him to grow up and be a Buffalo Bill football player.
Yeah, I don't think that telling him to be a man, like, this is one of the toughest kids in the NFL and one of the best athletes in the NFL. If you don't think that he is a tough kid, you're out of your mind. He takes a lot of hits and he doesn't shy away from it. So, but I do understand there is a philosophy, like watching him in that press conference afterwards, that was disturbing. I see it. I see what you're saying. My thought, you've criticized his intelligence a number of times, and now Slaw. My thought was more mental health issues.
Right.
I thought this is like a kid who's dealing with depression.
Yeah.
When you have something go wrong, how does that turn you into a lump of, I don't know what? And that can be a symptom of you're dealing with long-term depression, and your emotions can be very high and low because you're not on a stable foundation. Now, I'm not a mental health expert by any means, but I mentioned to you, I would put the kid on a suicide watch. Looking at that press conference, that was the thing that I thought. It was like, is this kid going home? And is he going to go home and have a couple of beers, or is he going to go home and think about just ending it all? That's what I was thinking. Luckily, he seems to have made it through it, and we'll see how he plays. But hopefully, he's healthy. Hopefully,
let's hope the coach recognize it and help him. Let's do this as a team. You don't have to take everything on your shoulders. This wasn't the Super Bowl, whether we're going to win or lose the Super Bowl, and you gave it the best you can. This was just game one of the season.
Yeah.
And, let's remember, we're all in this together, a team. Use your teammates. You're just one of 11. The coach always says everybody does a 1-11, but Josh was trying to do 11 of 11, and he does that consistently. Yeah. And it's time to say, listen, that's not how a team game works. So hopefully the coaches will enlighten him a little bit, or sit him on the bench for a while.
We have about 64 seconds left. I just want to thank everyone for watching. Hope you enjoy the game this week.
Yeah, go Bills.
Go Bills.